What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys had a fantastic day today, and today I have a very exciting model review for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the GeminiJets 1:400 scale American Airlines Boeing 787-9, the third release with the newer JC Wings mold and the 2023 release. I really hope you guys are excited for this, as we have both the flaps up and on the first time on the channel, a flaps down aircraft. So super excited for today's model review, not only for that reason, but I also flew this exact same registration, November 835 Alpha November, from the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport to the Miami International Airport on January 10th, 2023. So as you guys can tell, this will be a very exciting review, and I'm really excited to get into both these models. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and split the Dreamliners, and let's get started here with the boxes. So not too much to go into detail on the boxes. They're pretty standard for GeminiJets boxes. I'll just show you the difference between the flaps up and the flaps down. The only major difference is that the flaps down aircraft has a sticker or asterisk symbol here denoting that it's a flaps down aircraft. You don't see anything in the CGI or any different branding outside of the sticker. It also does carry over to the sides of the boxes, which is really cool. And then the back doesn't have anything different either. It just has the keep climbing and all that fun stuff. So looking very good right there. Not Delta slogan, but you know, the aircraft climbing is what I was referring to there. The pamphlet's pretty simple. It is the same for both, so here it is. And there's no plastic cradle differences from my observations here, despite the difference here in the wings. So that is certainly pretty interesting. But nevertheless, both of them look really good right there as well. So with the boxes out of the way, let's go ahead and bring both the Dreamliners back to the frame and get started with this excellent review ahead. So like I said, two really cool elements to today's model review. Number one, this is my first flaps down aircraft here in my fleet, which is really cool. I've never really just got a good opportunity to get them. You know, it's really challenging for model airports, especially because obviously once the flaps are down, you can't change them. So you pretty much have to find a way to utilize it in the flaps down configuration, which I'm really excited with this aircraft, as I think there'll be various ways to do that, and I'll explain that as we're reviewing the aircraft. And number two, like I said, I got to fly this exact same registration, November 835 Alpha November, from DFW to Miami earlier this year, and it was so much fun. So we'll talk about that through the video, where I was seated and everything, and my favorite moments from that flight. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and take the flaps down aircraft out of the frame. I know, crazy, right? And we'll utilize the normal aircraft until it is time for the flaps down element. So let's go ahead and get into this, everybody. Just a really beautiful plane, by the way. I mean, just take a look at this. It's absolutely stunning, and I highly recommend getting one if you haven't already, if you are looking for one. Alrighty, let's get started. Here we go with the cockpit windows. As per usual with the latest Boeing 787s, they have the tint on the windows, so that's really cool. And you also have the nose cone right here. This is, once again, the newer 787 mold that GeminiJets is utilizing from JC Wings. I have this mold on the Turkish Airlines aircraft I have, and a couple others. Overall, I think it's one of the best JC Wings heavy molds that they have to offer. It's really nice in all aspects, and I'll show you one right here with the nose shape, as it looks really good, and they did a really good job designing that. Here's the main nose landing gear right here, the nose landing gear door. Really nice and proportional to the real life Dreamliner, and I think they did a very good job on that. We also have some various panels here and whatnot. Starting right here with the L1 door, we have the lever, the window, and the One World logo for it, which looks fantastic. And then of course we have the American Airlines Eagle right here, where first class would start into business, then of course into main cabin, etched as American titles it has, then main cabin. The American Airlines Billboard titles look really good. The color in this aircraft is fantastic. It's not the exact same as like the American Airlines 737-800 One World that GeminiJets did, nor the A321neo. However, it's days ahead of previous offerings, especially on the latest ones, excuse me, like the 777-300 from last June 2022, last summer. So really nice to see that GeminiJets is at least knocking out the color on some of them. They did a pretty good job, surprisingly, on the 2020 787-9 release. So it is interesting to see that they once again did another pretty good job on this one, so that's pretty cool. Here's the antenna right here, along with the Wi-Fi box. Really good effort here to see that they're trying to represent the shade of brown that they're, or tan, whatever the color is here. I kind of see it as a little bit of both. But the shade that they're trying to represent here, I'm not quite sure if it's supposed to be this apparent, but I think it's really intuitive, all the different lighting situations and whatnot. So I can cut them some slack. They demonstrated effort here to show that there is a shade of tan or brown there. So I greatly appreciate that. That's fantastic. Here's the L2 door, again with the billboard titles that look really nice. Really great detail, just like the L1 door. We have the lever, we have the One World logo, we have the window, and all that fun stuff. Down here we also have various panels. Let me see if I can tilt this up. Sorry, the sun's kind of going on me. There we go. As you can see, really good detail, and they're really finding ways to really innovate on these aircraft at this point in time, which is really cool. Okay, so here we go with the leading edge of the wing. This is really where the deviation starts between the flaps up and flaps down mold. So what I'm going to do is go through the wing on the flaps up, and then we'll bring the flaps down to show you the difference of flaps up and flaps down. So first off, on the JC Wings mold, they do a really good job slotting in the wings here because it's a two-piece mold. If you've ever got confused what a two-piece mold is literally the mold is in two pieces. So we have the actual fuselage and then the wing pieces. It's a two-piece wing, so the wings come off separately right here. Opposed to a one-piece mold, which let's see if I can find one really quick here. Dang it, I'm trying to find one. I apologize, guys. I might have to bring in a picture or something, but nevertheless, a two-piece mold, or sorry, a one-piece mold is when the fuselage is and the wing's only one piece. So let me just get the 757 real quick. Alrighty, everybody, so here's the Boeing 757. I was talking about the beautiful Icelandair, Heckler Royal, also a GeminiJets. So you can see right here in the wing slot, where it goes under the fuselage right there and connects into the other wing. That's what a one-piece mold is, or otherwise known as a cradle mold. This is where the mold only has one piece for both the wings. So if I were to press this down and take it apart, the wing would be one full piece and it slots underneath the fuselage. You can see that crack right there, and then the fuselage one piece. Opposed to that, we have the two-piece mold where it doesn't do that, and as you can see, the wings slotted in right there into one piece. Now, my thought on it is most people do prefer the two-piece mold. I only prefer the two-piece mold if there's not a huge indent or a huge crack here in the wing. One of the biggest flaws with two-piece molds, from my understanding and my observations, is that when this two-piece is connected, there's various molds that will have a huge gap in it. I don't see any off the top of my head that I could show you, unfortunately, but if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm referring to. So, but this mold does a really good job of not showing that, and that's another reason why I absolutely love this mold. Okay, here's the engines right here. They're absolutely beautiful. These are the Gen 1Bs, I think is what they are. I'm pretty sure. I'm checking the box real quick. Yeah, the Gen 1Bs. So as you can see right here, they look fantastic. Really nice cowling right there, and then the actual shape of the engine along with the exhaust. Really good, just enough clearance there, and they did a really good job on that. You also have the wing, which has the slats right here, which look really good. Get the pin back in here. The leading edge, you got the strobe light, and then of course you got some more detail down here with the flaps and the speed brakes. So that looks really good, and of course no need for an escape pad because there's no door over the wing here on the Dreamliner, so really nice. And then the main landing gear as well. Let me bring in the Boeing 787-9 with the flaps down, and we'll show you the major difference here. So as you can see with the slats, now that are extended, I believe this is supposed to represent the like 30 degrees or so. So really cool to see that, and you can really see where they get in the indentation right there. It looks just absolutely beautiful, and I really like the look of that. So it's really cool to finally have the one that looks really realistic. And then of course the main selling point there is the actual flaps down. It's a really nice seamless mold, and it feels really good to just run your hand down just to feel it. So it looks really good. Kind of interesting that they weren't able, I mean, just an observation that typically on most aircraft, from what I remember, there's usually just a small gap between the flaps and the speed brakes themselves, like an actual visible piece that you can see, like a see-through part of the wing. Unfortunately, it was not able to be represented here, and I didn't sit that far back in the Dreamliner yet. I hope to find another one to where I can do that, but maybe the Dreamliner doesn't have it, but from my observations, most aircraft do have a little slot right there. So it still looks really good, and they did a fantastic job on it. I would rather have it like this than it breaking apart, of course. You also, let me see if I can get this up here so you can see. You can also note here where this piece right here of the flap for the aileron does stay in place right there, so that's really cool. So it is kind of cool how the ailerons also kind of tilt down a little bit to represent that flaps down configuration, so that's really cool too. But ultimately a really good job, and it looks fantastic. Outside of that, the flaps down to the flaps up only has one other major difference from my observations. That's the wing. That is that the wings are flexed, to obviously represent how a plane would look when the flaps are down, opposed to the other Dreamliner, which does not have that. It was kind of ironic because the previous 787 mold that GeminiJets utilized did have the wings flexed, even though it was in a normal configuration. So it is really nice to see that they're finally utilizing that in the correct ways there. So that's really nice. Outside of that, the both aircraft are standard in the rest of the model. So as you can see right here, we have the L3 door right here with some really good detail in regards to the panels, the levers, the windows, and all that fun stuff. Main cabin etched at ends. about right here. And then of course you have the back with the main cabin, and then of course the registration November 835 Alpha November. Is still absolutely surreal, but I got to fly the aircraft in real life. I didn't even know until after the flight that it was the exact registration. I just remember looking on the website one day and then realizing that I put 2 and 2 together. So that was really cool. And then we have the luggage door right here, 2 more antennas, and then we have the L4 door and the beautiful American Airlines tail. Just like the color of the fuselage, the color of the tail actually looks really good as well. Actually pretty much the same statement as what I said on the previous one. It's not like the One World and A321 Neo color for like more of a like standard blue and red, but it's also not too vibrant, kind of out of proportion saturation wise like some of the other previous offerings. So really good job there, and that looks really good. They did a very good job on that. The right side of the aircraft is very similar. The only main difference is that you have the baggage door right there, so that looks really good, or the cargo door I should say. Rolling landing gear as well, and then you have this cargo door as well, so that also looks fantastic. So there's a gap right there, actually, you can see that. It depends on the piece of the aircraft, but sometimes you will find some with a little bit of a gap right there. So as you can see, this right one unfortunately got a little bit too low in the slot and doesn't look quite as good, but the left one, as you can see, got put really well in there. That's the only major disadvantage. It disadvantages the 2-piece molds, but actually slotting it in there with 1 piece can also have the same issue. But as you can see, when you do have that little bit of a gap, this one's not as bad as some others. I've seen some really bad ones. It also depends on how far in the model as the wing of the aircraft can go, so that also has an impact on it too. So that's just all really small QC details, but ultimately not too bad. Just something I thought I'd point out. So that worked out well to show you guys what that's all about. Top of the aircraft's really standard, nothing too crazy. Looks really great. You also have some APU detail on the horizontal stabilizers and the tail. All looks really great. Sorry, kind of got carried away with the color because that's an observation to be had here. And then why don't we go 0.5 so I can show you underneath the aircraft. Really great detail. Definitely the best part is this little indentation right here. Both of these, they look really cool, and they did a very good job on those. We also have some really good detail here on the bottom where you can see all the various details for the flat pieces and everything. This route, you have a stand hole. Again, landing gear roll, and these are really fluid, so that's really nice, and all of that applicable detail. Let me bring in the flaps down to show you what it looks like from the top and bottom, because that is pretty important. Here's what the top looks like. Again, really nice, and they did a very good job of representing it. The bottom's honestly really cool to look at because you can see the extended pieces, and it's a part that can definitely go unappreciated if you don't think about it. Also, definitely note the slats, especially right here, I think, but all around, it's really cool to see that, and just overall the amount of detail and precision that goes into flaps down aircraft is really cool, and I think they did a really, really great job with it. So I sat in this aircraft, main cabin extra. I sat in seat 12L. I believe it was 12L, I'm pretty sure, or sorry, 13L. I think it was 13L. It was on the right side, and the window should have been like right about here. I need to figure out which window it exactly was, but somewhere in this ballpark. But the best part of this flight for sure was an absolutely incredible sunset over the eastern Texas area. It was absolutely surreal, and I really want to sit on that side. My friend and I had a debate on which side we should have sat on, and I told him, I was like, I bet the sunset's going to be really good on the right side of the aircraft. So we ended up getting on the right side of the aircraft, and that was the case. So that was really fun, and ultimately it was super fun. What a great flight that was. The Dreamliner is a beautiful plane from American Airlines. From the window tent control to the in-flight entertainment to the seats, it's just a really great plane, and I'm excited to get on more of them in the future. American Airlines currently taking deliveries of some more 787-8s. I think they've almost wrapped those up finally. They had a big intermission due to the pandemic, so glad to see them rounding that out. And now I believe they have another round of -9s coming in soon. I believe they're going to get about 20 more of those, and that should really solidify the American Airlines heavy fleet going into the future. So expect a bunch of Dreamliners at your local airport where American Airlines flies heavies too, but we'll also still have 777s for a little bit longer and some various other aircraft too in there, but mainly 777s and 787s. So very nice right there. As for the model itself, GeminiJets did a spectacular job, and I highly recommend it for anybody looking for a Dreamliner or really an American Airlines Heavy. Definitely the best of all worlds, but I'm really excited to utilize my first flaps down aircraft. I have several ideas for this one particularly. First off, DFW can obviously be used for landings, so that can be really nice. They're also pulling off the runway too, which will be really cool. I also think it would make for a great use in the maintenance hangars at Tulsa and Dallas for my model airports, as they usually always have the flaps extended for seat checks and various just various maintenance routines in general, so that'll be another really good way to use it. Or also even at the gates if they need to test the flaps down. That doesn't happen near as often, but I'm sure it happens every now and again. So there'll be great ways to utilize this aircraft. I'm really excited for that, and it's my first flaps down, and how much better could it be than an actual aircraft that I've flown on, and also an American Airlines wide body, because it's American Airlines. Great is what we're going for. So really awesome model though. Again, I highly recommend it if you are looking for one, and it's a great model. GeminiJets A+ effort. Really great for what they have, and these new JC Wings molds are really nice, from the 777s to 787s, and even some of the ones that I haven't got a chance to look at yet, like the I think there's a there might be some 747s they're using from them, but there's a bunch. But I'm really excited to continue to expand into those realms and see what they're all about. But yeah, really cool mold, highly recommend it. It's a really fun one, and I'm really excited to have this model in the collection. So with all that being said, everybody, that'll do for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Excuse me, everybody. I'm so sorry. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Just process. Do you love and love you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.